Oh my God. I love your dress. You look so gorgeous. Oh my God. You look so beautiful.
How's your morning?
That's good.
Oh,
Your necklace is so pretty. Where'd you get it?
You've seen this necklace before.
It's still pretty. How was your morning?
Oh, stressful.
Ready to get some drinks?
Yeah.
When we think about what marriage is, it's really the intertwining of two lives, the creation of a partnership. It's the opportunity to reaffirm yourself to the person you want to spend every single day with. But it's also more than just a ceremony and a party. It's taking the time to reflect on how you got here, every giggle shared, every challenge overcome, and every moment of acceptance. And after almost 3,000 days together, you're still uncovering new quirks and nuances about each other and falling a little bit deeper in love. That's what makes marriage so special. Yes, we're here to celebrate this momentous day, but it's so much more than that. It's all the ordinary Tuesdays that follow. It's choosing each other over and over again and finding comfort in familiarity while still finding ways to be pleasantly surprised by the person you wake up next to.
What do you do? What do you do?
The real gift isn't just falling in love once. It's falling in love 1,000 different ways and 1,000 different times as you both grow and change together. As Ella's big sister, this day is special for so many reasons. I get to watch my little sister marry the love of her life, and I get to be the one to tell their story. I spent a lot of time thinking about what I wanted to say today. How to shine a light on the wonderful, silly, sometimes chaotic, loving relationship that Ella and Tim share. And one of the themes that I kept coming back to is their ability to make each other laugh. For Ella and I, this is something that our father has ingrained into us our entire life. Girls, make sure you find a man who treats you well and makes you laugh. And Tim, I would definitely say you check both those boxes. You're both here today because you're choosing to spend your life together. It's a choice, and that's a really serious commitment. And while of course you can and should take that commitment seriously, you both have such a wonderful capacity to not take yourselves too seriously. This is so important, and sometimes it can be easy to forget all the joy and laughter that brought us here today. Webster's dictionary defines wedding as the fusing of two metals with a hot torch. Well, you know something? I think you guys are two metals. Gold medals. Now, if you know Ella and Tim, you know that any time spent with them is not without their whip-quick inside jokes, Tim's dry sense of humor that constantly has anyone questioning whether he's being serious or not, and Ella asking some obscure, outrageous question brimmed with an intense curiosity. Can you make alcohol out of parsley? As an outsider, you can't help but smile and fall a little bit in love with their love as you listen to how they communicate and banter back and forth. I really can't imagine a better quality in a partnership than being able to laugh together and the ability to turn the smallest mundane tasks and day-to-day things into a fun-filled adventure. By just being together, they always find humor and make the average everyday situation amusing and memorable. That is a lovely quality, and not one that everyone possesses. And to me, it's a marker of what a wonderful, full life you have ahead of you. Never getting too caught up with the day-to-day tasks that come with life, remembering to laugh and not sweat the small stuff, but also remembering to celebrate and live in those little moments wherever you can. Maybe that's getting flowers for Tim for Valentine's Day, because when do men ever get flowers? And Tim, maybe that's ordering Ella her Qdoba when she's had a tough day as a way to take care of her. Those little moments add up to a lifetime of memories that I know you'll cherish for years to come. But in life, we also know that those hard times will happen. That's just how it works. You'll go through hardship, you'll lose people, you'll have dark days where you'll want to stay in bed as much as we try. It can't always be those joyful, light, humorous moments, but that's okay. You're not just standing here today becoming husband and wife. but you're solidifying your partnership. Sometimes that will be leaning into the hard times, but you'll be doing it together. Sometimes it will be cheering up the other person, but as life does its thing, you'll remember this day for what it is, a reminder to each other that no matter what, you've got one another.
When Ella asked me to read something written by her grandfather, Popsy, I had already been thinking the exact same thing. If he were here himself, he'd be gushing with pride and love. I found a poem that he wrote years ago that I think is perfect for this occasion. Ella and Tim, here are some of Popsy's words for you today, but I'm going to need a little bit of help from him. Hold that for a second.
Reading glasses.
It's called First Love. Call to me and take my hand. Smile, look deeply through my eyes. Put your arm around my neck and rest your head upon my chest. Let me hold you softly close, cuddle in, feel safe and snug. Let me feel your easy breath and hear you sigh, your mind at rest. Take me to your heart to love. Know that all I am is yours. Always, one and one are two, except much more when I'm with you. Hold me when you feel that warmth. Tell me to be sure I know. Join me. Let's both share the joy of loving girl and loving boy.
If you ask any couple, the way they think about and define marriage will probably be quite different. And what a beautiful concept that is. There's no right marriage, only the way that feels most right to the couple. For Ella and Tim, this journey begins not just as spouses, but fundamentally as best friends. They've chosen to build this partnership on the foundation of genuine friendship, a foundation of mutual trust and respect, unfiltered banter and laughter, honest communication, and the joy of having your favorite person by your side through thick and thin. As many best friends do, you both have this spectacular mixture of somehow being so different from each other, yet having so many things in common. You both love singing loudly to musicals, Tim accompanying Gabby and his mom on long car rides growing up, Ella alongside her musical-loving extended family. Ella and Tim both share a passion for zoos and aquariums, animals in general, and of course, Sweet Momo. They both have a crazy diverse taste in music, from Pink Floyd to said musicals to Green Day, Crosby, Stills and Nash, the Andrews Sisters, and truly everything in between. It's so special when you find a person you want to spend the rest of your life with, but it's even more meaningful when that person doubles as your best friend. Watching Ella and Tim's relationship grow from the big sister perspective has been truly remarkable. But when you're watching someone you're hardwired to protect open their heart to another person, it stirs up a certain kind of beautiful anxiety. All I've ever wanted for Ella was for her to find genuine happiness and to find that person who loves her quirks, takes her out of her comfort zone, hypes her up, and sees her for the amazing person she is. And it became clear very quickly that Tim was that person for her. Watching them together, I've witnessed a friendship first, a partnership built on laughter, understanding, and a rare kind of acceptance that makes you feel safe and at home. Ella, you've always had an imagination that I've been jealous of. This ability to get yourself lost in a fantasy world or worlds that you've made up. You're creative, outspoken, and intense in all the best ways possible. You love fiercely, and now you found someone who you can create that world with. Tim, you have the kindest soul. You really are Ella's biggest fan, and when I picture the person I thought and hoped my sister would end up with, it was always you. You make her laugh. You are so considerate and thoughtful. I know Ella adores how good of a friend, son, and brother you are, and so there's not a doubt in my mind that you'll be a wonderful partner to her as you start this next journey together. You survived Lehigh's fraternity scene and sorority scene. You built a relationship together that started with long distance back and forth from Seattle to New York, created this beautiful life together in New York and Hoboken, brought home Momo and raised her together. And it's on this solid foundation that you'll get to start your marriage. Today, as you exchange your vows, you aren't just becoming spouses in the traditional sense. You are formally recognizing what you already know to be true, that you found your favorite person, your most trusted confidant, and your best friend.
I, Tim, take you, Ella, to be my wife, to have and to hold from this day forward, for better or for worse, for richer or for poorer, in sickness and in health, to love and adore always.
I, Ella, take you, Tim, to be my husband, to have and to hold from this day forward, for better or for worse, for richer or for poorer, in sickness and in health, to love and adore always.
Since I've been married just shy of a year now, that makes me qualified to provide marital advice. And I want to leave you with a few final thoughts that I keep coming back to, and I hope you both will take with you as you enter into this next chapter. Number one of the very best things about marriage is finding someone who can appreciate you for exactly who you are and never in spite of it. Finding someone who sees your quirks and loves them all. Celebrate each other's quirks and keep cheering them on. Number two, love is a verb, not a noun. Choose each other every single day. Number three, remember that you're building something together that no one else but you will ever understand. That's really freaking cool, so lean into that. Number four, keep making each other laugh. It's as simple as that. Number five, don't be afraid of the days that might feel dark, but do them together. And finally, number six, always prioritize your friendship. You are so lucky to have found a best friend and a partner.
Ella, I give you this ring as a daily reminder of my love to you. This ring is my promise that you'll never have to face the world alone.
Tim, I give you this ring as a reminder that I will always choose you. This ring is my promise to be the best friend you can always count on.
Ella and Tim, today you exchanged vows and rings and celebrated your love in front of those who matter most to you. But remember, today is just the beginning and the best is yet to come. So with that, it is with great pride and joy that I now pronounce you husband and wife, and you may kiss.
I'm really excited that Tim and Ella asked me to speak tonight, considering the fact they tolerated my last wedding speech. You know, for two Lehigh grads, I thought you had better critical thinking skills, but clearly that's not the case. When it comes to relationships, life, and marriage, Mark Twain is attributed with saying, and I quote, "Life is short, break the rules, forgive quickly, kiss slowly, love truly, laugh uncontrollably, never regret anything that makes you smile. And if you catch something, see a doctor and get rid of it." That's short, sweet, and right to the point. Unfortunately for you, it's going to be nothing like what I have to say tonight. Later, when you think of my toast, please remember the words, "forgive quickly." As I've gotten to know Tim over the years, and this probably won't come as a surprise to many of you, but I really like him. He's a really good guy. He really is. He's wicked smart, just like Ella. What I've learned over the years talking to Tim is that we actually have a lot in common. It's surprising, actually. We both play guitar. We both try to play golf. We both like the finer things in life, like once in a while staying at the Ritz when a Hampton Inn's perfectly good enough. We both have computer science degrees. We both went to Lehigh University. We're both SIG-Eps. And we both ended up marrying women who went to Lehigh Valley area colleges and universities. Ella at Lehigh, and my wife Lisa at that other Northeastern Pennsylvania college. I can't remember the name. But the thing Tim and I have in common that's most important is our love for Ella. Tim, you are the Jim to her Pam. You are the Ang to her Appa. You make Ella happy, you make her laugh, and you love her. And that's pretty much all a dad could ask for. I'm so happy to have you join our family and proud to call you son.
I had the great pleasure of meeting Tim while going to Lehigh and ultimately leaving college with a lifelong friend. I still remember the very first day I met Tim. It was a sunny Saturday afternoon. The guys were hosting a Moco's-themed barbecue in the 226 backyard. Country music filled the air, blue grain was flowing. A bunch of us were playing our go-to drinking game called Corners at the time. When suddenly, a young freshman Tim strolls in wearing a full gorilla costume, making his way to our table, asking if he could get the next game. "Go grab a partner," I turn to him and say. He motions over to his roommate in the pink shirt, and soon enough, we find ourselves in a World Series of Corners. We ended up playing for hours that day, not because we were highly invested in the spirit of the game, but really because we didn't want to have to talk to girls that day. We found ourselves back at the chapter house for a quick chicken nugget intermission, only to resume playing shortly thereafter. Little did I know then that I'd be making a new best friend that night.
Ella has always been extremely decisive. I believe we heard a bit about that from Mr. DePippo. When I met Ella during my freshman year at Lehigh, it took her all of about 5 minutes to decide that I was going to be her best friend and had absolutely no say in the matter. One conversation, one party, and before I knew it, I had joined her sorority, became her little, and have never looked back. And I couldn't be more grateful.
The universe chose Ella for me. We knew who each other was. We'd joined the same sorority. We'd been in the same rooms before, and we just happened to have found rooms to sublet together for the summer. Ella's one of those people who just all of a sudden is your friend. We were immediately making joint weekend plans, buying joint grocery hauls. Thank you to Analytical Ella for starting her grocery store spreadsheeting very early, so we had the cheapest chicken thighs, and cooking joint dinners. It was all of us just together.
Now, Ella, on the other hand, well, most of us have gotten to know Ella over the years. For those who don't, and even for those who might know Ella, let me tell you a little bit about my daughter. From my point of view, watching Ella grow and become the woman that she is nothing short of awesome. I'd like to think Lisa and I had something to do with it, but I did try to do, or we tried to do, something specific when the girls were growing up. We tried to treat our daughters as people, regardless of how old they were. From a very young age, they were given the latitude to be who they want to be. We spoke to them as little people, we laughed with them as little people, and we allowed them to make their own decisions and mistakes as little people, all within reason, but with the specific intent of allowing them to be who they are. And I can tell you, Ella is awesome. Now, every dad's gonna tell you their kids are awesome, but I can actually back up my claims. In a single word, what makes Ella awesome is passion. She is passionate about a great many things, kind of like a Renaissance woman. Allow me to elaborate. It took Ella a little time to find those passions. It took a while for them to take root. Early on, she was Ella the shy, my timid, adorable little Ella, but always Ella the imaginative, totally content to play in her own little world. As a dad watching her play as a child, all I wanted to do was get inside her mind and see what she was seeing. Just awesome. And she was always Ella the mischievous, a little bit, testing boundaries, pushing buttons. A little story that I remember, which she probably will remember, is as a little girl, I'd put her on my back in a backpack or a carrier. Or we'd be in a pool and I'd throw her on my back. And even though I'd say don't, she would jam her feet down my waistband to either get support or stand up. And all I could ever see is out of the corner of my eye, this little giggling girl behind me just giggling. It's just so Ella. Of course, there's Ella the animal lover. We heard a little bit about that. So caring, so loving. Our house continues to be adorned with all of her stuffed animals. If you've ever seen Ella with her baby Momo, you know what I'm talking about. Tim had a breakout moment one year, and he took Ella to the zoo for her birthday for a live meet and greet with penguins. Phenomenal, brilliant idea. Early on, we met Ella the philanthropist and Ella the entrepreneur. I have loads of stories about Ella this way, but my favorite is when she was about 9 years old. One night at dinner, I asked her how her day was. She said it was good, but she had decided she was going to organize a fundraiser for the local animal shelter. She planned to do a bake sale in front of the market in our village. She told me she contacted the town hall already. Really? She needed to get permission or a permit to put a table in front of the market, which she had already taken care of. Huh. Next thing I know, I'm hauling baked goods and a load of little girls to the town. She raises a pile of cash. We drive to the animal shelter where they're just as surprised as I am, all culminating with photographs and an article in the newspaper. That's Ella, just passionate, awesome. At age 9.
Tim and I have embarked on many adventures together, going from late night chicken coop hangouts to playing Pokemon Go during our Lehigh summers, and most recently, catching a hammerhead shark off the coast of Florida and going on Jersey Shore vacations every summer. And it was on these Jersey Shore trips where Ella got to partake in some of these adventures, adding her own spice to our fun, if you will. Some notable highlights that come to mind are when she used a fake bachelorette trick as a way to convince the entire staff and public at Coconuts to get us free rum buckets. Or when she doubled down and tried to set up that very same waitress with her doctor friend as a trade for those free drinks. But it was also on these trips that I got to witness Tim and Ella's relationship evolve from college sweethearts to something truly everlasting. And witness I did when, on one trip, we shared a pass-through bedroom. And I got stuck in room number 2 having to listen to Tim romantically serenade Ella with his version of My Girl, My Way by Frank Sinatra. To this day, I still don't know if they knew Abby and I were listening in the other room. But the moment was way too magical to ruin by revealing ourselves, so we decided to stay quiet. Until today.
The start of Ella and Tim's courtship remains one of my favorite things about the two of them. As I said, Ella is extremely decisive, and I'm going to tell this story from my perspective. We heard about it differently at the rehearsal dinner. One day, she told me, "I think Tim is kind of cute." And as I knew her, this meant time to set it up. A couple days later at a barbecue, I went up to Tim, as I imagine Ella would have done for me when nervous about talking to a boy, saying to him, "What are your thoughts on Ella?" They were chatting at that barbecue maybe 30 minutes later, and the rest, as we know, is history.
As the years progressed, her passions expanded into Ella the socialite, sister at A-Gam at Lehigh, the amazing Halloween parties that you guys have had over the years, and as Kaya, Sarah, Michaela, and Maeve can attest, Ella always shows up. Ella the socialite appears at all of our holiday parties. Many of you have heard and met Ella the genealogist, doing deep research on our family tree, Tim's family tree, and probably every family tree in this room. Not casual research, we're talking deep, deep research. In fact, it's totally unfair to call them family trees. These are family forests, huge. And you probably have met or have heard of, or some of you have, Ella the saver. Smart, savvy, determined, great with money. In fact, I've never met anyone more passionate about used clothing. I mean, she actually strategizes going out and doing used clothes shopping sprees. I think she actually tried to buy that wedding dress at the Salvation Army. But in reality, and I figured this out because I asked her last night, that beautiful gown she was wearing at the rehearsal was from the Salvation Army. That's passion. And of course, there's Ella, the TV and movie critic, whether it's The Office, Buffy, Friends, Avatar, the TV show, not the movie, or Jaws. She just doesn't watch. She watches deeply. I mean, how many people can you name who have watched all 4 Jaws movies? I mean, not just once, many times. I mean, how many people in this room even knew there were 4 Jaws movies? That's passion. She even convinced me to watch America's Next Top Model. Now, truth be told, I really enjoyed watching ANTM with Ella. It's true. Ask my friends about how it affected my walking back then. Easy, breezy, beautiful. Right.
A little bit after that, Tim had been coming around for a little while, coming over regularly, when we finally got the text from Ella. "Tim and I are officially dating. I'm so excited about him." And I quote, "If I was transferred into a boy, I'd be Tim. He's so weird." But Ella, our overthinker, didn't get this in writing, and so she made sure the next week to text him to check in. "So, you're my BF, right?" And got the "yep" back. "Okay, just checking." After all this, I agreed to live with Ella for a second summer, this time in the house that would be her home for senior year, so she got a little bit more settled in. Tim was looking for a really great Christmas gift for Ella. Consulted absolutely nobody, but passionate Ella, we gained a new housemate, the hamster. It was one of the first signs of Tim truly knowing and supporting Ella's passions. She wanted a little furry friend, and she got one. And so did the rest of us.
And the last trait I'll talk about is Ella the analytical, calculating and data-driven. I know she got that trait from me as I did from my dad. But Ella and I share a very specific passion, and that's a passion for spreadsheets. Hell, I practically have to look at a spreadsheet to put on my underwear in the morning. Ella the analytical takes that to an entirely new level. She has sheets for just about everything, and her sheets are epic. I think she probably uses a sheet for everything except for one decision, picking Tim. Tim came automatically and without the need for pivot tables. All these passions form Ella the lover. She has a deep love of a great many things, and top of that list is Tim. When you combine all these passions and the many more I did not mention, Tim, you have married Ella the amazing. You have an acute eye for the very best this world has to offer, and I can guarantee you, you made your mate decision 100% right. Outstanding job. You see, Lisa and I have been together since high school. We've been married a long time, a really, really long time. Like 40 years or something. But we're still happily married, so we're either doing something right or we're both incredibly lazy. Maybe it's both. One of the most important lessons I've learned is that being a married couple requires work. Both partners need to be active participants in the relationship, never allowing the other to coast. This can be difficult at times. There's always ups and downs in relationships. But the technique that we've come to use is something I like to call keeping it fresh. This is particularly important as marriages progress, like ours, after some 60 years together. We keep things fresh by finding little things we can do to expose our love to each other. For example, when we're out and about, we might be at a restaurant, we might be at a museum, we might be just shopping at Costco. We find opportunities to make lovingly looks at each other. You see that blushing? That means it's working. It's fun. It keeps everybody on their toes. It's interesting. Hell, whether you're together for 5 years or 75 years like us, I encourage everybody to find ways to keep things fresh.
Having spent much time with both Tim and Ella, it's evident that they share many similar qualities, like their spirited nature, their unique sense of humor that only they get, and their ability to brighten anyone's day with simply their presence. It's no wonder that they found each other, as I can't imagine there ever being a dull moment between them. I, for one, couldn't be more happier for them both, and personally could not be prouder for our tremendo pollo for finding his perfect match. So with that, could everyone please raise a glass and cheers to Tim and Ella?
As Tim supported Ella's passions, maybe ill-advised in this one scenario, I think the landlord made them give them up afterwards, Ella brought that same energy to their relationship and to all of her friends. Even throughout college, when I had not figured out what I wanted to study or even do with my life, it didn't matter because Ella knew it for me. She picked my major, she picked my minor, she gave me my leadership roles in our sorority, and she got me my first job. She has a special knack for knowing exactly what people need and what they would succeed in. It's that kind of support that's hard to come by. And I'm glad that she and I are in the same industry still, where we can continue to get each other jobs and referral bonuses. That same support has carried Ella and Tim through the longest of long distance that I personally have ever known.
Not every relationship makes it out of college. You move out, you move cities, you start a new job, and life changes. These two found themselves on opposite coasts, which they handled already the summer before, but for this time for the long haul. But not for one single second did we think they'd be the ones that didn't make it. It was matter of fact. Ella always had her next trip booked, was out watching the Mariners, I'm pronouncing that one right, and just making space for Tim immediately without even thinking about it, just as he was also doing for her, until he finally made it back to the East Coast where he belongs, at Ella's side.
So with that, we'd like to raise a glass to Tim and Ella. Cheers!
And the most important lesson that I've learned about marriage is love. How do you define it? Well, isn't that the thing? How do we define love? Love is probably not, for most of us, what we see in the movies, and it's probably not what we read in sexy dragon novels. Sometimes love can be defined in surprising ways. For example, I can define love through snoring. You see, as the svelte young man that I am, inexplicably, I snore. And many times, oftentimes, despite owning the best earplugs money can buy, Lisa will leave our bed many nights because I snore. Yet, in the middle of the night, I find myself instinctively reaching to her side of the bed to see if she's there when she's not. Even when I travel without Lisa, in the middle of the night, I find myself reaching over to her side of the bed to see if she's there when she's not. I can't quite find the words to describe what that is. It's a strange feeling, but I think it's because it feels like half of me is missing and it's not comfortable, but at the same time, it's comforting to know that half of me is missing. I can't quite describe it. But for me, I think it's because Lisa is peace. She is comfort. She is calm. She is home. She is love. If I have only 100 beats left in my heart to give, I want them to beat with her. Ella and Tim, I hope you find your own strange and unusually comforting feeling of love for each other. For me, I never not want that feeling. So to wrap this up, to my amazing Ella, it feels as if it was just yesterday we were cozied up in our blue recliner, watching Toy Story, eating popcorn. You went from newborn to 29 in the blink of my eye, from my little girl to the amazing woman before all of us. I'm so happy you and Tim have found each other. I could not be any prouder of who you are and all that you have become. You truly are amazing, Ella, and I absolutely love being your dad. I love you so much, and I love you so much that if you, and I mean specifically you, try to hold and hang on to my love, well, honey, you're gonna need a bigger boat. I love you now, and I will love you forever. Everyone, please raise their glass to the newlyweds, Ella and Tim, for a life filled with love and laughter. Congratulations, and finally, cheers.